Hey, good morning everybody. I'm Dwayne with Off Grit and just wanted to say thank you to everybody that responded to our short video. That was actually supposed to go in as a normal video, but I didn't really know that those actually will go directly to shorts if they're less than a minute long. So whatever the case, I think if I would have posted as a normal video, I probably would have got a little bit more response. But to be honest, I was happy with the responses I got because the consensus was pretty much the same across the board. With slight variations, but it was kind of interesting to see that everybody kind of had the same take on it. And that is that you all watch this because either you are going to homestead or you are homesteading or you're moving into this area and you want to know more about the ins and outs. So basically what I got out of all that was more details, more of how things are built, more of how we came to the conclusions we did, and just being a little more, probably just more detail, more work for me probably, because I should make like probably more detailed videos, which I'm happy to do because my biggest question doing all this was, I don't know who watches these videos. I don't really pay much attention to analytics and all that stuff. I know that YouTube has all that, but frankly, I really just don't look at it. So for me, it was more of like I would rather just directly ask people, and get the consensus that way. So that worked for me, and so thank you to everybody that responded. I really appreciate it, and it's cool to see that there are people moving out in this area, and so this does directly apply to you, especially if you're from a place. I think one guy said he's from Maine, and wow, what a difference. I mean, I grew up in Ohio, which it's so I at least can get an idea of where you're coming from mentally, going from a place that extreme to this extreme. And so yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of things that you probably would like to know more details on. So I'm definitely going to try to help with that. Anyways, so I'm sitting out here in front of this Earthbag structure. And really the next month here, like I had already said, is going to be me finishing up on this structure here, because it's been an on and off project for over a year now, and so it's one of these things where I kind of have to get this thing completed to get it off my plate so I can start focusing on our house build. And these Earthbag structures, I will tell you this, they're very, very labor intensive. So don't be fooled if you're watching videos and people, I think most of the videos out here, people are pretty honest about the time frames that these things take, but it's easy to romanticize the idea of this kind of stuff, and then when you go to do it, you realize you're like, man, this is really a lot of work. And so I think that you save a lot of money. They're really solid structures. They're literally bulletproof, and they're great in a lot of respects. But the biggest check mark in the con section is the time and the labor intensiveness of this type of work. So anyways, so that being said, I've had to bounce around to different projects, so this thing was always partially completed, and I made it to where it was safe from the weather, and basically we could go in and out of it, and we can use the building itself. But all the details, like the trim on the roof and the putting the actual final roof on it, just little things like the aesthetics, like putting another coat of stucco on here. I got some moisture barrier I'm putting around here, because we're in this area here, this farm area. It's actually in a lower spot on the property, so flooding is an issue down here. It's not like extreme flooding, but it's something that I gotta prepare for down here in this area. So we wanted to keep our farm separate from our house. Our house is actually on top of a hill. That's where we're going to be building, of course, so that makes sense. But down here, there's a little more work that's involved in keeping this stuff from getting too wet. So anyways, I think the next video I'm going to talk about our internet setup, because I've actually had quite a few people ask about the internet and what we're doing for the internet, and I've watched a couple videos. So I think it's good to watch multiple people talk about multiple options, because it's really not a cut and dry thing of what you should or shouldn't do. It's really going to depend on a lot of different variables. So as I learned being out here, it was, for me personally, the internet was an absolute headache. Because for one, my wife needs to have good internet because she works remotely. She works for a university, but sometimes she works remote, so she cannot have a lagging internet. She can't have a unreliable service. You know, we can't go with some, you know, smaller company like Billy Bob's Internet or something. You know what I mean? But we can't do that, so we have to have good internet. And being out here, we don't really get good cell phone signals, so it all started with a cell booster, and then from there, there's a few steps in there to get us to the point where we can use internet. Not just internet in one place. Like the RV has its own internet, and then there's a cable running from the RV to this building that has a couple computers in it, and there's about 5 different devices in here that are powered by Wi-Fi, and some of these can be running at the same time. And on top of all that, I have a son who's 16 years old who does a lot of stuff on his computer, and you know, he does gaming, he actually creates music, he creates video games, and so he's in all kinds of things, and he has a really good computer, but you know, for him, that's his life. So he needed fast internet, and we wanted something without data caps. You know, that's a big thing you're going to find out trying the internet, and you're also going to learn that there's a huge difference between a mobile hotspot and actual dedicated internet. You know, just like you would have at a normal house in the suburbs, it's the same out here. So it was a problem, and it was something that I actually had to go through. We're on our 3rd company now, so I had to go through 2 other companies before we got to the one we're with, and hopefully this one will work out. So I'm going to talk about that in the next video and actually go into a little more detail. But I just wanted to say thank you to everybody subscribing. I know that some of my videos have been a little bit all over the place, and you know, it's honestly because part of my life out here has been a little all over the place. It's just basically us figuring it out as we go here. You know, I'm trying to give you all a real inside look into my personal life, into what we're doing out here. So some of it's been a lot of experimenting with the YouTube stuff and just getting better at filming and getting better at putting this all together. So I appreciate everybody for your patience, and if you stick with us, I'm telling you, I'm going to keep getting better and keep evolving. So thank you again, and I will post the next video soon. Thank you.